CTV News at 5 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you're with us on this Wednesday, April 15th. One of the communities hit hardest by recent flooding is Mindoya in central Manitoulin, where a state of emergency was declared yesterday. CTV's Angela Gemmell has that story.
Adam Smith checks the sandbags in front of his business in downtown Mindoya. He's trying to prevent any further flooding.
Yesterday we had almost 3 feet of water in our basement, a couple inches in our lower level where our beds and bedroom furniture is, and a little bit of water running in our front door. So it's certainly a bit of a mess inside.
The mayor says the flooding is due to a combination of melting snow, higher levels on nearby Hare Creek, and recent rain.
Got an overflow of water that had to go somewhere, so it's taken to our streets.
Has it ever been this bad?
No, never in my time, and I've been here in a building right on the main problem area for 35 years.
The state of emergency allows the community to access extra provincial resources.
Knew that we were going to need some kind of assistance. We didn't know how long it was going to last and how much bigger it was going to be. So we decided to call the emergency now and look for ministry resources to help us out.
Stevens says the first thing the province responded with was sand for sandbags. That arrived today along with volunteers to help fill them. Smith says he's grateful.
And we apologize for that technical problem. And around 3 this afternoon, the Mindoya Hospital and Emergency Department announced it would be closing temporarily as the flooding is impacting water and sewer services. Residents are being sent to Little Current site or the hospitals in Espanola and Sudbury for all medical emergencies. Call 911. The hospital will reopen when services are restored and it is safe to resume normal operations. All right, let's talk about all that rain. How much more is going to fall? For more details, let's bring in CTV's Amanda Hicks filling in for Rick Wyman. Amanda.
Thanks for that, Tony. The good news is we aren't going to be breaking any records or anything like that when it comes to rainfall over the next couple days. Your first look at weather is brought to you by CAA. You can become a member at getcaa.ca. We do have a special weather statement in effect, though, courtesy of Environment Canada. 10 to 20 millimeters of rain in Parry Sound, and that's going to continue into tomorrow. However, the good news is that by the time Friday rolls around, we could be seeing closer to 20-degree temperatures. And I know that that's hard to believe, but that's the way that we're going to start the weekend. I'll have more details about what's to come in the forecast coming up a bit later on. But for now, Tony, back to you.
Thanks so much for that, Amanda. Well, French River has also declared a state of emergency today. Residents are encouraged to take precautionary measures to protect their homes and properties. The town noting Wolseley Bay, Ranger Bay, Dry Pine Bay as areas with increased vulnerability to flooding. Sandbags are available at the Albin Fire Hall and the municipal office in Noelville. And as we continue to get visuals of the flooding in North Bay, this aerial footage from Neil Brown shot yesterday shows major flooding around the Newgate Mall and residential streets in the area. The municipality closed several roadways, limiting access to local traffic only. Incredible video. And today, crews were working to clean up and open roads. All roadways reopened today except for a section of Duke Street between Wild and Fisher Streets. That stretch remains closed and is slated for cleanup tomorrow. While Chippewa Street has reopened, there is still sand on the road. Motorists and pedestrians are asked to drive cautiously through those areas and watch out for city crews. Due to the water levels, the city of North Bay has also initiated a secondary bypass at the wastewater treatment plant to protect the treatment process. In Moose Cree First Nation on the James Bay Coast, voluntary evacuations have begun due to the high risk of flooding. In a release today, officials with the First Nation say, based on the data from the Ministry of Natural Resources and forecasted rain in the area, the Moose River Basin and connecting waterways are at an elevated risk of flooding. The First Nation is calling it a preemptive evacuation, with the most vulnerable community members being evacuated first. Plans are in place to begin registration in the event of a full evacuation. All right, it's time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Amanda has your full weather forecast. But first, we're off to the Elliott Lake Fire Tower, and this live shot is courtesy of the city of Elliott Lake. It's 9 degrees Celsius. We are back in just a few minutes' time.
Pure Country 91.7. Sudbury's home for the best country music. Listen for your chance to win $50,000 with Pure Country's big $50K payday.
Welcome back. Well, we're on a bit of a weather roller coaster over the next couple days. A little bit of rain in the forecast, mind you. That special weather statement still in effect for Parry Sound, 10 to 20 millimeters of rain over the next 24 hours. So make sure you keep that in mind. And of course, every millimeter counts. We saw before the break those the effect of those flood watches that are in effect. So, but at least it's short-lived. Next day or so, we're going to see a little bit of rain, but then we get to some warmer temperatures. Let's get into it with the 5-day forecast. Starting with Sudbury Nickel Belt, so we've got a chance of showers for tomorrow, high of 11 degrees, 18 on Friday, getting closer to 20 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud there. Periods of rain on Saturday, high of 10, and then by Sunday, we drop down to 0. So what an 18-degree difference from just over the course of 2 days. For Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, chance of showers for tomorrow, high of 11, 16 on Friday, sunny skies, grab the sunglasses, periods of rain on Saturday, high of 6, and then by the time Sunday rolls around, that's when we see the shift in conditions. Chance of flurries on Sunday, high of 0. For Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of showers for tomorrow, high of 10, 17 on Friday. Good to start to the weekend, a mix of sun and cloud there. Periods of rain on Saturday, high of 9, and then -3 on Sunday with a chance of flurries. For Timiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, chance of showers for tomorrow, high of 11, 17 on Friday, mix of sun and cloud. Periods of rain on Saturday. That seems to be the trend here, high of 11 degrees, and then -1 on Sunday. A chance of flurries, but then we get back to the sunshine on Monday. And finally, for North Bay, West Nipissing, chance of showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow, high of 13, 18 on Friday with some cloudy skies, periods of rain on Saturday. Temperatures drop 14 degrees to 0 on Sunday. We're sitting at the freezing mark, so well below seasonal. But then by the time Monday rolls around, we start the work week, start school week with a high of +4 and some sunny skies. So Tony, we are going to be seeing a chance of showers throughout the next day or so, but then we get into some milder conditions. I like that. What do you think? Sending it back to you.
I like those conditions, but I don't know about going from 20 degrees Celsius to 0 is such a good thing. But, you know, it's Northern Ontario. We'll take what we get. Thanks, Amanda. The Timmins Chamber of Commerce hosted a State of Mining luncheon today, and officials with IAMGOLD were the guest speakers. CTV's Lydia Chubak has more on the company's aggressive plans.
This month's State of Mining luncheon, hosted by the Timmins Chamber, offered the opportunity to learn more about IAMGOLD, the mining company that owns and operates Côté Gold Mine located on Highway 144 between Timmins and Sudbury. Over the past 6 years, the Côté Gold Mine has grown quickly, and officials say partnerships with Indigenous communities and surrounding municipalities have been key to the company's success.
It moved from 10 to basically 20 million. It has doubled, which gave now the opportunity for another stage of growth, and this is what we're going to be highlighting in our next study that's going to come out at the end of the year.
The company says employee recruitment is its biggest challenge. 70% of employees are from Northern Ontario, with 150 from Sudbury and 70 from Timmins. Now that IAMGOLD's found success with Côté, the Canadian-based company is hoping to grow its exploration project Nelligan in Quebec.
We don't say we'll be exclusively Canadian, but our resources grows. We're nearly like 40 million ounces of total gold and resources in Canada now, and it's growing. I spoke today about our presence in Quebec, and maybe the next Côté gold mines will be built, the northern Quebec.
Today was very exciting in terms of what the future holds in terms of mining for Northern Ontario and the value of maintaining partnerships and what that entails to make sure that a project is viable and successful in the long run. So those were all key takeaways of today's presentation.
IAMGOLD operates in North America and West Africa, with its main assets being Côté Mine in Northern Ontario and Westwood Mine in Quebec. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Sudbury is going to be home to a world-class training facility that will offer training to mine rescue and other emergency responders. The provincial government announcing the $125 million investment this morning. CTV's Alan Everson has more.
We're going to see training that will include high-angle rescue, fire response, hazardous materials, confined space, structural collapse, smart classrooms.
Minister Piccini made the announcement to a packed room with standing room only at the annual Mining and Safety Conference in Sudbury.
As technology evolves, you've got to make sure we have access to modern training, and this is a seminal proactive investment in worker health and safety.
The training facility will have on-site accommodation and is expected to open in 2029.
From police to firefighters to Ministry of Natural Resources, at the end of the day, the skills that you use in emergency response are the same on surface as they are underground, so this facility is going to serve a lot of people.
Ontario Mine Rescue is a division of Workplace Safety North.
We've had a number of conversation meetings with system leaders, and it was great to see that everywhere we went and everybody we talked to supported this. They see what this can do, not just for Sudbury or the province, but for the country and for the world.
The announcement comes as the province says the global demand for critical minerals is expected to double by 2030.
Health and safety training is paramount no matter what sector we operate in. This is an important complement to the growth that's anticipated in mining in Ontario.
The City of Greater Sudbury, just within the city itself, will be going from 9 mines to 15 mines over the next 5 years in the city itself. We're like in Northern Ontario and Northern Quebec. Probably another 15 mines on top of that, new mines.
Officials say details are being finalized to attain the 124-acre property for the training facility. CTV Northern Ontario has learned it's on the northern section of the LaSalle extension between Froude Road and Collège Boreal. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
They have dug themselves a deep hole. Coming up on CTV News at 5, the Sioux Greyhounds lost a tough game to the Kitchener Rangers last night, and with the loss falling 3 games to nothing in the Western Conference semifinal series. Welcome back, folks. You're watching CTV News at 5. I'm Tony Ryma. Tempers flared at Greater Sudbury City Council last night as members debated a push into the defense manufacturing sector.
Sorry, sir, that's it. Sorry, that's it. Please, thank you so much. Move on. Please, sir. Sir, security, please ask him to leave.
That was the second interruption from attendees who expressed concerns while the motion was presented. The proposal sees the city declare its support for pursuing jobs in defense, military equipment, and vehicle manufacturing. Councillors noted they have received emails and calls from residents worried about the move. While the motion was carried, the debate revealed a divide at council.
Through international law, the attacks on civilian infrastructure is barred. However, if we do get involved in the construction of equipment for the defense industry, that would make Sudbury a viable military target and put a target on our back should we ever be involved in direct combat. So that is a concern of mine that would kind of make me hesitate to support this motion.
It's not about war, it's about peace and trying to bring peace to the world. But our peacekeeping mission for our soldiers that go to these countries to help out, they need the proper tools and the proper equipment to help. So if we don't take a lead in this, we're just allowing this opportunity to go to other communities that don't have the minerals and the resources that we have right here in our own backyard.
And city staff are expected to report back with potential industry leads later this year. Drink Smart is a student-led initiative operated by Smart Serve Ontario. The organization put out a survey to see the drinking patterns of students 18 and up, and it discovered a larger issue.
The Drink Smart survey was hoping to give a voice to post-secondary students, and it found out that students' concerns over mental health and financial security outweigh their desire to party.
Financial stress is a top issue just everywhere for students. So 74% of Northern students citing the cost of living as a major stressor.
I really get stressed during exams about like finances, everything, because I usually take off time off work to prioritize my studies.
Financials is probably, at least as a student from my perspective, like that's probably the most pressing thing students have on their mind, because if you don't have money for school, you're not going to be at school. If you don't have money for food, you're not going to be eating. If you're not thinking about like anything related, like anything that's probably in your mind is financial related.
Mental health challenges are also cited as a barrier to education. 56% of students say mental health is a top stressor, but only 18% of students are accessing supports.
They're not seeking their own help, so we got to bridge that gap of self-support and self-care versus helping others and reaching out and finding those resources. I think a lot of students on campuses don't know where to look and don't know where to engage.
Students seem to go to their friends and family members and peers for counseling as opposed to seeking professional help because they just feel more comfortable. So we try to cover both, actually on campus, in-person support, and also online support.
Ridgelick says the survey findings can be beneficial to policymakers as it shows what students are worried about. As for alcohol and cannabis stats, less than a quarter of students say they use cannabis and nearly half say they don't drink. Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Now to the OHL playoffs, and the Sioux Greyhounds were looking for a win in front of the hometown crowd last night.
Rangers are caught. Here's a 2-on-1. McKenzie with Chase Reed catching up. McKenzie goes in with a shot. Scores!
Quinn McKenzie opening up the scoring on the odd man rush. Brady Martin and Chase Reed would also find the back of the net, but a hat trick from Kitchener Ranger Dylan Edwards making it tough on the Hounds. They fall to Kitchener 4-3 and trail 3-0 in the series. And in less than an hour, it's Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinal between the North Bay Battalion and the Brantford Bulldogs. The game was postponed in North Bay yesterday because of all that flooding. The game gets underway at 6 p.m. The Bulldogs lead the series 3-0. He has a lot of different roles over the years. When we return, we talk with author Morris Switzer and his latest book. You're watching First at 5. He's a writer, author, and speaker from Northern Ontario, and some are calling Morris Switzer's Sons of Tecumseh a highly political issue-oriented novel, awash in Canadian history, contemporary politics, and highlights problems that plague this country's First Nations population. So let's bring in Morris Switzer. He joins us from North Bay. Hi there, Morris. So nice to see you again.
Oh, hi, Tony. It's good to see you again. And as I just mentioned, you look like I remember you 25 years ago.
Wow, time flies. What drew you to explore Tecumseh and his sons?
He's long fascinated me because he is credited with being the first North American Indian leader to really understand as colonization began to kick in on the eastern coast of North America, and he saw what was happening, particularly after the American Revolution, the need for unity among the tribes of North America. And he did his best in his lifetime to achieve that with limited success.
And did you try to fill in the gap of research when it comes to Tecumseh's life? You know, he passed away, you mentioned, kind of almost more than 200 years ago.
He died in a battle in what's now Ontario, the Battle of Moraviantown. Some people call it the Battle of the Thames, down near Chatham. He died defending Canada, fighting with the British against the American invaders in the War of 1812. He died on October the 5th, 1813, and historians now agree that if it wasn't for the contribution of he and about 10,000 Native American allies, that we would probably be part of the Trump empire right now.
And how were you able to weave together Indigenous culture, you know, the past, and creating a compelling narrative to fit the times we live in?
Well, I'm a student of Indigenous history, and so my book has two sort of interwoven stories, and the one is the historic story that I researched, and it's pretty accurate. I did put words. You have to put words in the mouths of people that lived a couple of hundred years ago because you know they're not here. But interwoven with that is a contemporary fictional story about contemporary First Nation politics, and my research for that was firsthand because I worked for two First Nation political organizations for about 20 years. So I was, that's where I did that research, if you want to call it that.
Morris, it was so nice to reconnect with you. Take care and continued success.
Thanks so much, Tony. You take care.
Morris Switzer was our guest, and to see more of our authors and our Northern Book Club, head to our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. Our first community close-up is from North Bay and all the rising water there. People have been getting out to see the damage and water for themselves, some even getting creative and staying in good spirits. A North Bay photographer capturing these two canoeing their way through the Walmart parking lot. And still in North Bay, Trevor Bush sent us a series of pictures. He took them just a few days ago on the city's waterfront. He snapped these photos of the Chief Commander and the sun along with a nearby snowbank. Thanks for sending these in to us, Trevor. And we're heading to Agnew Lake, north of Espanola. Jeanette Mulligan took this picture of a dog, Maddie. She says the pup is the only one enjoying snow in April. Thanks so much, Jeanette. And if you have any pictures, videos, or events you would like to showcase, don't forget, email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca. And there's more news for the North coming up at 6 o'clock. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.